So this is a Swift Cottingham Archway. I'm just going to take you around the van, or Swift Archway Cottingham, should I say. In the front locker, you've got your gas bottles, or your gas bottle in this particular van. Gas valve on top opens up the gas flow one way, and the opposite way it closes the gas flow off. The gold nut that you see on there is a reverse thread, so you need to turn it the opposite way to what you'd normally turn a thread. So for instance, like a Coke bottle, you do it the opposite way to what you would with that. Hookup procedure on the front of the van. We go through it in person here on site, and I have got a separate video on that I can send to you so you can see how to do that if you're ever getting any problems with that. So the van at the front, you've got your gas flow. That is only for when you're on the gas side of heating and hot water. At the bottom here, you've also got your leg winder, which you can see just there in the video. So your winder bar goes onto the nut here. One way you wind down the legs, and the other way you wind the legs up. Water pump and aqua roll, as you can see here, that is how you connect your aqua roll up. The blue catch that you see here at the bottom, you pull it back towards you, and that will release from the side of the van, and you pull the tab back and push into the van to put it in place. Battery and gas locker, battery locker, and mains power lead come into the side of the van. As you can see, it goes over to the power connection at the back there and connects into the side of the van. Then got your motor mover and wheel nuts. We tighten the wheel nuts before you leave site with the caravan, and we demonstrate the motor mover in person on site. The little tank here that you see on the side, it takes 3.5 litres of water for the flush system, and you also put a cap full of the pink fluid in there. So like I said, 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of pink. Then in the cassette in the bottom, to release it, you pull the handle up here and pull it towards you. And what you do is you take the cap off here to empty the waste out, and turn the neck round so you can empty the waste out of there. But you put 1 litre of water in here and a cap full of the blue fluid, and the measure for the cap full of the blue fluid is this one here. On the back you've got a pressure relief so you can empty the waste out without it spitting and splattering back at you. Back of the van you've got a storage locker that goes underneath the bunks at the rear of the caravan, as you can see through the window there. Back of the van you've got your wind down leg on each side of the van, and again that is for stabilising the van when you're on site. On the near side or the door side of the van, you've got your fridge vents, 230 volt connection, that's power going out to your awning for instance, so you can plug in a small freezer or fridge outside the van. You've got your locker at the front of the van for underneath the seating area, and then you've got your barbecue gas points at the front as well. And again, you've got your leg winder on this side at the front. So as you can see, we've come inside the Cottingham now. I'm just going to take you through the operation of the caravan from the inside. As I said, most of the piece on the outside we show you while you're here in person. Above the door, you've got your main power switch, so once you connect it to power on the outside of the van, you can hit the power button and the power will come live. The indicator here at the top is letting me know I'm connected to a mains power point and I've got power coming to the caravan. If I was connected to the car, you'd have a red light on the car, an orange light, sorry, on the car, and then you'd have a green light on the caravan to let me know I've got 12 volt power coming from the car to the caravan. If you've got all three connected, you need to make sure you disconnect one of them, because if not, you could overload the charging system. On here, you've got your leisure battery voltage. As you can see, it's at 14 volts at the moment, and if you're connected to the vehicle, you'll be able to press the button here and it'll bring the vehicle power up on here also. Next of all, we're going to go to the water pump system that you see just here. Now to operate the water pump, you can see it's already connected on the outside of the van, but you need to come underneath the seat at the front of the caravan and make sure the yellow valve that you see just there is in that position. If you want to drain the system down, you'd lift that valve up and put it so the yellow rimple part is pointing upwards, and that will drain the water system down once you are done with the caravan and when you're coming back from holiday, for instance. We do advise that you do that after every use of the caravan, and we do not advise leaving water in the caravan over the winter because it can cause frost and freezing damage to the water system. By that I mean it could potentially freeze the pipe work or the hot water tank at the front of the van, and if it does that and it cracks open, the water will come inside the van as it defrosts. But again, like I said, you wouldn't want to be leaving the water in there over the winter. To fill the water system, once you've got that valve in the position it's in now, you'd open up each tap around the caravan. Do apologise for the phone. And you'd also do the same in the bathroom. So you do it on the tap on the sink, and the shower tap as well. And you open them all up on the hot side so that you can bleed the water system. Once you've done that, you can come over to the control panel and hit the water pump button here. And as you'll see, it will start bringing water through the tap pipe work on the van. As you can see at the moment, it's spitting and splattering because it's not got pressure up yet, all the water through the system. And when that water is coming out of the taps completely, as you can see it's starting to do, so the sink in the kitchen has started to do so. Just going to remove the plug out of there so it can fill up. But once the water's coming out continuously as it is now, you can go around and shut each of the taps off. And the sink as well in the kitchen. And that means the water system is primed and ready to be used. So to do that, to warm the water system up, you come to this control panel on the left of the above the door. You hit the middle button here, and you'll see you've got 4 options going along the top here. The first one is the internal room temperature of the caravan, and to set that you use the dial just here. You spin it round to where you want the internal heat of the caravan to be. At the moment we want it off, so we're just going to press the middle button there and the heating will be turned off. Next one across is your water temperature, so you've got off, eco, hot or boost. Now depending on what you're doing in the van, you'll soon figure out the temperatures as you go along, but the boost is when you're showering essentially, or when you're trying to wash up and you want to run water continuously, you'd have it onto boost. The hot, again, if you're doing your washing up and there's already water in the tank just to fill the sink. And the eco is what you'd leave it on the majority of the time, so you've got hot water in the caravan. To set any of them, as I said, you just press the middle button. As you can see, it'll come up the top here letting you know what you've got it set to. The next one across is the power source you're using. So if you want to use gas on its own, you've got the option to run gas for the heating and hot water system. So if you're off-grid. Mix 1 is if you've got a limited amount of electrical power available and you can run it as a combination with the gas. Mix 2 if you've got a bit more power available, so 2 kilowatts or 1 kilowatts as you can see there. Electric 1 is 1000 watts of power on its own. And electric 2 is 2000 watts of power on its own. Here on site we're going to run it on electric 1. On the end here you've got the option to run the fan system, so you've got off, and then you can turn it on the fan by pressing the vent, and then you can set the fan speed to whichever you like. At the bottom here you've got some options which in the manual it'll explain to you exactly what these are for. Cooker works like your household cooker. This one's got 3 gas rings on it, and you've got your igniter on the front, as you can see. With the fridge, very simple to use. To operate the fridge, you've got power on. And at the moment, as you can see, it's trying to ignite on gas. The gas bottle isn't turned on at the moment, so it will fail to ignite. And when it does, it'll make a beeping sound and it will flash these symbols here out to you. To change the power source you're using, you press and hold the grey button. And the symbol here will start flashing. Then you can use the arrows left and right to select which power source you're using. So the 12 volt battery you see there is the 12 volt power supply from the car. So as you're travelling down the road, the beers and wine are getting nice and cold. Next one across, you've got your 240 volts. So when you get on site, you press the grey button. Any of these, you have to press the grey button to set. Then it will start flashing the temperature of the fridge on the opposite side. Hopefully you can see that in the video. And then you can use the arrows, as you can see, on the opposite side to control the temperature of the fridge. To set it, again, you press the grey button. And as you can see now, we're on mains power and the fridge is at full coldness. With the front bed, you've got the rail here that pulls out. So that'll pull out, and at the end here, you've got 2 little tabs on each side, as you can see here. And the widest part of the bunk there will pull over and lock into place on the end of them. With the seating, you can see you've got the hump part here, as you can see. This raised section. You'd actually turn this cushion completely round and you'd put the raised section against the wall on the outside of the van. Then the cushions that you see on the outside, you'd drop into the centre to make the bed up in the front of the van. Push that back away for now. Underneath the seat, also on the far side, the same as where your water tank is, you have got your mains power box. So you've got your mains trip switches on one side and your 12 volt fuses, and in the door down here at the front, which I can't open from this angle, but there is a list of what each of the fuses is for. For the heating and hot water, you would need to have the power switch on here, which puts power to the control panel on the wall. The spare fuse you'll also need to have on, that just runs power through the rest of the circuit. The charger you can leave on constantly. And if you want reverse polarities running in some European countries, this light here will flash when it does that. On the end here, you've got a complete system shutdown, so if you want to kill the power in the van completely, press the button in and that will isolate all power. Coming towards the back of the van, we have the toilet system, which is very easy to use. An electric flush on top, so you press the button on top and that will be the electric flush. Then underneath the toilet here, you've actually got your waste flap, which you'll need to push around to the far side to allow the waste to go through into the cassette under the van. The bed at the back of the van is fairly similar. The board here drops down into the rails at the bottom that you can see just there, and that will make the bed at the bottom. So that's everything on this particular caravan. If you have any further questions, please do give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'll do our very best to help you over the phone. Thank you. Bye-bye.